Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's that time. I just received the Plex audio for the 2022 Lowrider S, and I can't wait to install. This is what comes in the box. Nice. Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's about that time. I'm about to install the Plex audio. So the first thing I want to do is I want to use these tabs right there and unhook them so I can remove the front fender. I need to do a tank removal. I need to remove the seat, and I need to access the battery right there from that compartment right there. So if you remember some of the other videos that I did when I was doing the heated grip install, you'll see like how I removed the tank, how I removed the seat, and how I removed the batteries. I just mentioned there's these knobs on both sides that you push in to remove the fairing. For the tank removal, you're going to remove that bolt there, that bolt there. For the seat, you're going to remove this bolt right here. The seat will come right off. And to access the battery, you're going to remove these two bolts right there. But before you get started, always remember to go ahead and disconnect the main fuse for the bike, which is going to be located on the panel on this side. So once you remove the fairing and put it in a safe place, what I did was I used this socket right here, which is a 3/4. It fits right there. And you're gonna loosen those up a little bit so you can put the Plex audio bracket on. And there's also, in order to get this plate off right here, you're gonna loosen up that bolt under there, and that's a T27. And there's another T27 right there on the other side. It's kind of hard to get to, so this is the setup I used right here. One of the things I did was I tightened up the bolts before I tried to slide the bracket on and in place right here. And I didn't have to move my headlight out the way. It went on fine. So everything's going good so far. The system is mounted, and it has its one plug right here. So now it's time to run the wires. I have the seat off already. So what I'm gonna do is remove the tank. And when I remove the tank, I will route my wires using a zip tie all the way up and out, and it'll go right up inside, right to the plug there that you just saw. It comes with the ground. This part plugs in, but it comes with a fused ground and hot wire. And so I just need to run that and install the controller. It doesn't have to work with the controller, but I bought one anyway, and then I'll be done. So at this point right now, I'm gonna remove the tank by taking this bolt off, and the ones up front, I'll lift the tank up. There's a release valve right here that I have to undo, and then also this hose right here, and then there's an electrical plug that is attached to the tank that's behind all of this. You can't see it right now, but I'll unplug that, and then the tank comes off. So what I have is this is a HW8 bit, and this is a 9/16, and I'm gonna use these to remove the tank. Take the number 8, put it here, and just checking the other one on the other side. I've had this tank off about 3 times already, so it works. So this is out. Sit it off to the side. Now you can lift the tank up at this point, but just lifting the tank up at this point, you can get everything disconnected. And let me bring my video camera around so you can see. So I removed the one tank bolt and nut off of the rear part, and this allows you to be able to raise the tank up. And so now you can access your release valve, or not your release valve, but the release for the tanks. You're gonna press down on that to release it, and it only drip maybe like a few drops of gas, but or even less. And then so that's what you want to disconnect. That plug right there is the one that you're gonna want to disconnect. And so I have the tank disconnected from the rest of it. So I'm just gonna reach in and unplug that. You don't just pull it out, but I think you push down on the top and pull out. Give me one second. So this was a piece that was still connected on the inside. What I was trying to explain is when it's plugged in, and so what you do is there's a tab right here that you push down on. You push down on that, and then you can just pull it and unplug it towards the rear of the bike. And now the tank's ready to be removed after I loosen up the remaining bolts right up top. So now that the bolt is removed from the front, you can go ahead and lift the tank off. Everything's disconnected already. The more fuel you have in it, the heavier it's gonna be. And just like that, it's off. This weighs a good 30 pounds, maybe 35 pounds full. I'm just gonna sit it down. All right, so tank's off. And this is what you have. So coming around the other side of the bike, one of the things that I should have mentioned was you always want to cover your bike up. I have just like a trash can right here full of towels. And I use them to wash the cars and things like that. So you do want to cover your parts up so you're not dropping tools on them. It's a little late in the game now. I need to cover that up, but I did have to lift it up to take it off. So, all right, so this was released from the tank. This was released from the tank. And that's the other plug right there that was released from the tank. There is a harness that Harley-Davidson sells. It is a USB harness. This is where the USB plugs in that I use to go up for my cell phone mount. But inside of here, if you get this off, you got to remove the horn. If you take that off, you can hook a plug and play bracket up inside of there, and you'll have wire harness. It's supposed to be accessory power. I don't know if it's constant power in there or not, but accessory power wires. And the harness was about $20. I don't have it yet, but for this install, I'm going to use that for my cruise control install, or for whatever other accessories that I run up here. Some people run like extra GPSs and things like that. That's what I've seen online so far, but I did buy it. I may not need it, but I bought it anyway. So where we are in the install right now is, what I need to do is I'm gonna need to run these two wires all the way up and then out through here. This area just pops open and it's pretty hollow. This is kind of weird putting back on, but you'll figure it out. It's not rocket science, but so this area in here is pretty hollow. And I wish that I could run these separately, like pull this apart, but I don't know if it's glued or what, but I'm just gonna leave it the way it is and see if I can get it through. I've been very successful. I took 2 long zip ties, and I just used some Gorilla duct tape, taped them together. And but this, just one of them gets me through. And then, so I'll pull that through, and then I'll tape this to the zip tie, the back end of it. I'll push that through first. It'll look like this, and then I'll pull it all the way through. I do know that this is definitely gonna hit something, so we'll see how it goes. So I fished my zip tie all the way through and out the other end right there. That's the end I'm gonna pull, and I'm gonna be taping this right here, and I'm gonna pull it through. I already know, like right about here, I always hit something because I have quite a few wires in there, but like I said, it would have been easier if this was detached, and maybe I'll pause for a little while and see if I can detach it. It looks like it's probably glued, and I know it's directional, but I wish it was more so not glued on or whatever. I don't know, but I'm gonna see. When I'm taping stuff to pull, this is where like the bracket connects. I go all the way down with the tape, so as I'm pulling, I don't weaken the connection in between these 2 points. And so one of the other things I try and do is try and make it so that it gradually goes through and over, so it may not have as much resistance when pulling. All right, so as to be expected, I'm pulling quite a bit. It did get stuck here a little bit, but you just have to be patient and kind of just wiggle back and forth. You don't want to use force because you don't want the metal of the frame cutting into any of the wiring. So at this point, I could just kind of push, but also kind of pull through. I'm using one hand because I have the cell phone, but make sure that your wires don't get caught and that you're very patient during this process. And right there, I'm just about out. And we have been successful. So there's the wires. Now I'll just remove this tape, send it through that side, and I could plug it right in. And this is the remaining. You're just gonna hook up the red to the positive side of the battery and the black to the ground or negative side. So this is the wire that we just ran through, and it's gonna plug directly into that part there. Red to red, black to black. And see if I can do this with one hand, most likely not. So, okay, so now that that's plugged in, it also comes with this connector. And what it does is there's 2 holes right there. You're just gonna stick one in on each hole so that you can connect. So when you connect it, it binds so that it doesn't pull apart. And so a lot of people are taking a roll of tape, some electrical tape, and then they're taping this around so that it makes it stronger and does not come out. Okay, tuck your wires in and go ahead and push this piece back in place. You're gonna just push, push, push. It's gonna be kind of ugly up top, and you can try all day to get that in there a little bit better, and just work at it a little bit at a time, and you'll have it back in place in no time. So I have my power and ground wire still sticking out that I have to connect. On another video, I do explain like how to get the battery out, and I will get back to that as soon as I'm gonna decide to go ahead and put my bike back together right now. I'm gonna put the tank on and put my fairing back on because I'm kind of running out of time, but I will fast forward to when I complete the wiring connections and things like that. So I don't leave you guys stuck out there. One of the things that's worth mentioning is that when you get to the part when you're about to install the Memphis Shades Road Warrior fairing, what I do, I have my, I loosen these up and I move them all the way forward on both sides. And then what I needed to do, I needed to push this plexaudio closer to my bars, and they are up closer because I was just barely, my fairing was too tight on it. So I'm taking a 7/16, I loosened them up, and now I'm just tightening the nuts under here. Yeah, you can reach it if you use something like this set here. And it's not a big deal. See, you can get to them fairly easy, even with the light on. I never had to disconnect my headlight. So, right tools always help. All right, so that's on. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and grab my fairing, put it on there. What happens is all these notches line up and then they lock in place. But what you have to do is fit it over the headlight first and then put it right on there. So let me put my phone down before I break something. So that you can get that clamp to lock, you may even have to loosen these up right here and then spin this part around so that you can make sure that it locks in place. Right now, I have it locked in place, but as a precautionary measure, one of the things you can do is take a zip tie around the bracket. This is a solid part of the bracket right here that has a hollow space. And I would zip tie around there, around this, to make sure your fairing stays on, because if this button's pushed or hit, or if it's not connected on there tight, your fairing will come right off. So I am gonna zip tie mine as an extra precaution. It also kind of helps so that your road warrior fairing is not stolen so easy. This is what I was talking about as far as zip tying. Make sure my fairing does not fly off. I'm gonna put a few more zip ties on there to make sure this thing doesn't come off. I mean, it's on there, but this is just extra precaution. All right, so the fairing is mounted again, and I used the precautionary measures and made sure that my fairing is gonna stay on. It does fit tight on here against this piece, but nonetheless, it is mounted, and the only thing remaining is to, one of the things I like to do is test my turning, make sure nothing is caught or impeding my my turning, make sure nothing's in the way, and that can be ridden safely. So now to the part that I hate, and that's getting to the battery. You cannot access the battery from the top. So the only thing you can do is access it from the side. You remove those screws, and this plate will, those bolts, and this plate will come off, and you can access it. But what I'm gonna do today is, once I get the battery out, I am going to install some leads so that it's easier for me to get to my battery, or to jump it, or to add other power accessories without having to pull the battery all the way out each time. Remove the battery, you're gonna remove these two screws and take the cover off. It's just in place with the rubber grommet. Set those down. Just gonna pull to the back there, and that's how it's secured right there. All right, so the next thing you wanna do is remove this plastic cover that comes off. Set these farther under the bike. All right, so the next thing you wanna do is unhook this wire harness right here, and just moves out of the way like that. And there's also this wire harness here. Move that out the way. I always disconnect it. You push in right there, and that allows it to release, and it unsnaps. Finger was in the way, sorry. And so you can move this all the way out of the way if you want. It doesn't have to go back through. You can just even let it hang down. One of the things I've been doing when I remove my battery is I'll take the oil stick off, and I'll cover that area up, because it helps with trying to, the battery has to actually go past the cap. So the other thing you want to do is release this latch here. I have weak fingers, so I need to get something to do that with. All right, so that's released. And the other hooks, there's 3 other hooks, but the first thing you want to do before pulling this tray out is you're gonna have to disconnect the negative battery terminal. So I've been using either a screwdriver straight through and down to get to that part, just to release the negative terminal. You can also use a 10mm and just go in, and it'll reach it really easy. And you can either take it off this way or use a screwdriver up top. Once you have the ground removed, at this point, I'm gonna put my phone down so I can catch the screw. But once you have the ground removed, then I'll show you the next step. All right, so the negative screw is removed, and all my negative terminals are out of the way. So basically, I took the oil stick out, and you're gonna be pushing all this stuff out of your way. And this is just a housing cover to protect the battery. So that you see there's one piece right there that connects to that piece right there. I cheated and I just lifted up the tab and got that out the way. The next one is far in the back. I've maneuvered this enough to where I can get it out. It's way back there and it's out. All right, so now all these wires and things are in your way, but zoom out. Okay, now just pull this out the way. The cover out the way. It's like giving childbirth. This is a part that is the most time consuming. It's just getting to access the battery, but you're all gonna have to do it one day to change your battery out whenever this battery goes bad. So you might as well practice it now. All right, so now that's done, I need to unbirth the battery from this area. So the easiest way, as I mentioned before, was to go ahead and remove the oil stick and cover up the area where the oil is so nothing falls in there. And this is quite a task. You're gonna have to use both hands and kind of like push the bottom of the battery up and then squeeze your hands in and pull it out. So that's why I do not want to go in and out of there multiple times anymore. So I'm going to be trying to do some kind of modification so I don't have to do that anymore. As you can see, I wiggled my fingers underneath and I have the battery at this position. Now I could kind of like slide it out. It's literally like trying to get a baby out or something, but I pushed the battery forward and then got my fingers underneath. There's a tab way in the back there on the other side of the battery top that presses it down, that keeps the battery locked in place really tight. So right about now, you can decide to pull the battery all the way out and do some work on it, or you can play doctor and see if you can reach in there with a screwdriver, unscrew the positive terminal and connect your wire right there, which is not too bad, but I generally get it right here. And then that's when I just go ahead and unscrew my screw right there. And then I can remove the battery all the way out. Okay, so fast forward in the interest of time. I took the battery out and halfway through, I was able to unscrew the terminals and put the positive and negative terminals on. And I should have power to the Plex audio and to all my other devices. Light turns red, it's on. So anything further from this point would be to sync my phone to the actual Plex audio system, the Bluetooth device, and then see how it works from there. All right, so that's gonna finish the install, and I have everything buttoned up. And I still need to hook up the Rockform Bluetooth device that controls my phone. I'm gonna take that in the house with me right now. It's kind of cold in the garage, and I'll be right back. All right, YouTube, thanks for watching Chris Glides and Low Rides. On this episode, what we did was we connected the Plex audio to the 2022 Harley-Davidson Lowrider S, and now we're ready to hit the road with some sounds.